Good morning. This is a video about military trains, which I have an obsession for. This is an old Lima World War II German train. Essentially it's all the vehicles to enable the Leopold gun to fire. There's the railway gun. When I first got it, it didn't run very well at all, in fact hardly moved, but with some lubrication and cleaning it runs pretty well now in both directions. I plan to have a more permanent layout at some point, and I want to include World War II on that. So this is, if you like, a purchase towards that. It looked like they were probably made in the 80s, but I'm not really sure of when it was produced, but they're pretty old, I think. You do see a few around, and they appear at auctions in various places. Okay, so this next set was originally produced by Cox from about 1971, their HO range. It's a military train set, and they're now seem to be produced by somebody called Model Power. So they sell most of these wagons again. This shows flat cars that carry to lorries and sometimes tanks, and those vans you can see, the one on the left explodes and the one on the right has drop down sides with artillery in. This did have a rocket which has now been lost, but I do see them around on eBay, and the gun needs some bogey repairs. I do like the gun though, and actually it's fairly similar to those produced in World War I and World War II in terms of its looks by the US military, except they seem to have been grey in the colour. You can still buy these Model Power versions of these wagons individually, mostly sold in the US, but occasionally you see them pop up in the UK. I've pretty much bought this for the 6-year-old to have, but I may keep the gun and do something with it. The caboose is for sale on Amazon, but it's about £50 odd, which I think is a bit excessive because they're fairly budget looking, I think. But it's a military train, so I kind of had to have it. There are also lots of other wagons available that aren't in this range you can get for it. Absolutely loads of them. Okay, this one gets a bit more unusual. It's a Backman Hawthorne Village armoured train. It's supposed to be from World War II. It's ON3 gauge, but that's a Sherman without the gun. I have seen the barrels on specialist model maker sites for Sherman made in brass, so I'll probably replace that. Again, it's not one I don't think I'm going to keep. Now there's currently this same set as this being advertised in eBay in the US, and the conversion makes it about £350, so they don't tend to be cheap, and I didn't pay anything like that for this. I wouldn't have bought it probably otherwise. But it's a bit quirky, and it's a military train, so I decided to get it. Most of the wagons are really pretty heavy, like they're built out of a resin. The tender's pretty light though, could do with a bit more weight I think. But it runs well out of the box, both forwards and backwards directions. The Bradford Exchange are the people who sold them in the US, which is why they cost a lot, because people bought them in instalments and got, I think, wagons every couple of months or something like that. So you remember I bought this Captain, now Colonel Tom, locomotive from Hornby. I decided that I might have a go at adding DCC chips because I hadn't done it before. So I'm going to have a go and then run it on this test track. Quite like the way it gradually speeds up in a more realistic way. The sounds aren't too bad outside actually, because it's kind of a bit drowned out by noise around. It's just rush hour now, so the traffic noise is slightly louder than it normally is, and there's still a lot of birds around. which only took about 10 minutes and was quite easy. And I thought I'd just give it a run for 20 minutes on this test track. The test track, by the way, you've probably seen before in some earlier videos. It's got a couple of 009 tracks as well as this 00 track, because I haven't actually got around to test new vehicles and run them in, so I put trains on this. And it's portable, so I can take it around. It's 4 foot by 3 foot, made of 9mm hardboard, just like my other layout. I bought another decoder for a class 47 because of my I'm going to do an update next on the layout, because I've got a few things, some more people and buildings to add, and I'm going to take the tents away. But I'm also going to be doing some video about my new obsession, which is the Royal Trains. I only discovered they existed a week ago, and now I've got 2 sets. I quite like them. So the next video after that will be on that. I've got a light set for this as well, so I'm trying to get brave enough to drill the holes out and put the lights in too.